Guys, I want to be super real with you guys for a second. Have you guys ever had some days where you have nothing to show for? You feel like you haven't accomplished anything throughout your day that's productive or made you any income? I have a secret to tell you guys. That's not laziness, that's not procrastination, that's just misdirected effort. What I'm going to be showing you guys today is going to be systems that is going to help you lead gen, your follow-ups, and your clients, and all of that without burning out. See, guys, the thing about winning time is it's being proactive and having intentional control versus just being reactive towards other people's urgencies. As real estate agents, I understand the craziness of the world, the craziness of the clients, and the deals that go on a daily basis. Sometimes it's hard to prioritize certain, activities versus others. But today I'm going to help you guys build a time management system and give you guys 3 strategies that were taught to me. I've implemented all 3, and these are some of the top ones that I can guarantee will help you become more organized with your time, prioritize the things that are important and actually make you money, and put the activities to the side that are not useful at all for your business. All right, guys, so the first strategy we're going to be going over is going to be time blocking. Depending on the level of activity that you guys have, right? If you're a seasoned agent or maybe you're a newer agent, it gets a little tricky, right? I guess you're going to have to determine your activity levels, right? But for the most part, this is how time blocking works. You can have them color coded, but basically you pick certain time frames for a specific task. Let's use Monday here as an example, right? You have 7 to 8 a.m. Maybe you have breakfast or maybe it's reading time, whatever, fills your cup at the beginning of the day. So that would be considered one block, right? Your second block would be the travel or the commute. Maybe, after your reading time or your breakfast, you got to take some time to hop into the car, get to the office and set up. Then you'll have, emails once you get there, which would be from 9 to 11. That's a 2-hour time block. Emails and follow ups. Then you have calls. Obviously, you always have to make time for the lunch breaks. Guys, make sure that you guys are making, certain time blocks for rest. Maybe it's to detach a little bit, it's to get some energy back into the system because it's going to be very important for the rest of the time blocks that you have. But basically, this is the gist of it. I found this very useful. I used to be a very, very visual person, right? And I used to forget things a lot. I needed to see them on my calendar for me to know that they need to get done. And as far as the color coding, that's going to be super dependent on you guys. For me, the way that I used to color code them would be very simple. It would be, green, orange, or red. Green would be tasks that, yeah, I can get done, but if they didn't get done, nothing would happen. It wouldn't hurt me. It wouldn't hurt my business. If it was orange, it was things that needed to get done, but they weren't super urgent. Maybe it's something that I need to get done before the week ends. Now, the red may be, appointments or things that, they have a specific deadline that need to be met. And then under the description of that time block or that time frame that I, put to the side, there's a description that lets me know exactly, when the deadline is, what tasks need to be done, more into detail. Second strategy that I'm going to be going over with you guys, if you're not familiar, is the Eisenhower Matrix. I learned this one a little bit deeper into my business career. One of my mentors here at the brokerage, broke this down for me, and it was honestly very useful for me. If you're a type of person who sees these tasks and you can determine whether they're tasks that need to get delegated or thrown out, like they're useless, or which activities need most of your attention, and you don't know where to classify them, the Eisenhower matrix is super important and super useful to discern which ones those are. So if you go in here, these are the important but urgent tasks, right? So they're going to be in that specific color code. These are the do now tasks. These tasks, obviously, like it says here, they're tasks with clear deadlines and consequences for not completing. You're probably wondering, okay, what does that look like for my specific business? Buyer presentations, listing presentations. Maybe it's a buyer consultation. Maybe it's a meeting with an owner of a property who said, "Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee." And depending on what I hear, I may let you list my house, or I'll consider it. Or maybe you're about to list a house this week, right? And there's certain contracts that need to be set in stone or set in place before you're able to list that property officially on the market. And there's certain tasks that need to get done ASAP. Obviously, this varies from agent to agent depending on what stage you are in your career and how you have it set up. Your do now tasks are going to be very different from other agents, so don't sweat it. Just make sure that you take it day by day. You learn from the things that you're doing and you figure out what your do now tasks are. Now, when you come to the yellow color coded, this is going to be the schedule, right? So these are the not so urgent, but they're important tasks. Or like it says here, tasks or long-term goals that require a strategic thinking, no set deadline. You definitely need some time, whether it's a couple hours a week or maybe it's a full day a week for you or bi-weekly, but it needs to be on your schedule for you to start planning some things that need to, happen in the future, whether it's content creation or maybe it's some properties that you want to door knock in the future. Maybe it didn't work out right now, or maybe it's some follow-ups that you need some time to break down. Maybe it's some CMAs or some numbers, or you want to put some value propositions together because you plan to speak with these people in the future. Delegate. These are the tasks that need to get done but don't require your specific skill set. Okay, guys, these are one of the squares or the parts in the Eisenhower Matrix that I just had a really hard time because I was an agent who felt like I needed to be present for everything. If I wasn't present, I felt like my clients would leave, or maybe it wouldn't get done right. But one of the biggest advices that I got is if you can find somebody to do that task 80% as awesome as you, that's 100% amazing, right? They don't need to do it as good as you or as great as you. As long as it's 80% as good, you're completely okay. Some of these tasks maybe are follow-ups, right? You don't need to necessarily do all your follow-ups by yourself. Or maybe it's something as simple as putting up a sign on a listing. If you're that property that you're going to list is 30 minutes away from you, there's no reason why you need to drive 30 minutes away, spend another 10 minutes putting the sign up and spending another 30 minutes coming back to the office. Depending on how much you're making, right, or you don't have the time, that 1 hour and a half maybe cost you $100 depending on your yearly income. So little tasks like that require a lot of energy, right, or things that you don't necessarily have to do yourself, but they do need to get done. Those are the things that you can hire somebody to do. So you need to analyze your business, figure out how to reinvest your money into help to do tasks that don't necessarily need you personally to go and do them. As long as they get done, client is happy, you're happy, and your business is successful. Delete. So when it comes to this color coding, it was super time consuming for me. There's a lot of tasks that I felt were important, but then I started to analyze, comparing how much money that task made me. And I ended up understanding that maybe it wasn't as important as I thought it was. These are the tasks that are not urgent and are not important, right? So tasks that distract you from your goals and add no measurable value. I'm going to tell you guys one of them that I didn't realize it was, right? Maybe it's office time, depending on what brokerage you're at. I mean, that's why I came to a cloud-based brokerage. I noticed that when I was in a brick and mortar, office, I felt like I always needed to be there for all the meetings, all the get-togethers. And let's be honest, most of the meetings are very outdated. They bring no value to your business. And most of the times, a 1 hour meetings ends up being 2 hours and a half because you're too busy talking to other people. So I wouldn't have those on my calendar unless I felt privileged enough, which I never do, to put those on my calendar and go have a conversation with somebody at an office if it wasn't a money making activity. Another one is having, lunch or dinner with a lender or an attorney. Unless you guys are business partners and you guys have been doing that for a very long time and you're nurturing the relationship because you guys are mutually giving each other business, then that's okay to have on your calendar. Other than that, there's a lot of tasks that shouldn't be there. Maybe it's a podcast, right? Maybe you're putting time to the side to do certain things that don't necessarily make you money. And it's okay if you don't do it today or you don't do it at all because you're too busy focusing on your goals and dialing in on the things that are going to get you closer to accomplishing them. All right, so number three, I don't have a name for it. This is just something that works the best for me. This is what I'm using now, right? So I just focus on the money making activities and things that I just can't move no matter what. That includes some family time, right? I make sure, first and foremost, that I put everything on my calendar before I set up anything. The things that I cannot move and will not move, no matter the situation. If it's weekly meetings that happen at the same time, the same day, every single week, no matter what, whether I'm joining them and somebody else is leading them or I'm leading them, and I need to make sure that I do not move them, I do not cancel. I made a commitment to the agents that I'm making these meetings for. That also includes a weekly time with my family. Maybe it's certain time frames. Maybe I have some boundaries set up with clients and agents where I only receive calls or go into meetings from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you call me from 7 p.m. further down, I'm not answering. So I just want to make sure that everything that I want to prioritize in my life that fulfills me, that makes me feel like I have an organized time dedicated to each person. Because what I don't want is to be at home having dinner and I get a call at 8:30 from an agent or this and that because I've allowed them to feel like I can just pick up my phone whenever and I'll answer. As much as I would want to be that available for my clients and for my agents, there must be boundaries set so that I can, perform to the best of my ability in 100% capacity. So as you guys see here, there's a lot of things that in the week that does not get moved. Obviously, this is not my own personal calendar, but for example, here, lunch, right? If you guys have lunch every single day at the same time, that's okay. As realtors, you guys know that that's not the case. Sometimes you have a listing appointment at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. Lunch is going to have to get pushed. But for the most part, put in your weekly meetings, right? Or maybe it's prayer time in the morning, early in the morning. Maybe in the evening, you're gonna have dinner with your family, right? You're gonna have to make some really hard decisions, and as long as these things are put here and they're color coded in a color that lets you know, hey, you cannot move this. You made a commitment, and this is how it's gonna look for the week. Overall, guys, these are the three strategies that have helped me, just so that you guys get a summary of everything that we went over. There's time blocking. Make sure that each time frame is the only thing that you're focusing on. You're not multitasking. If you don't know how to balance these things, do not try. Get to know yourself as an entrepreneur. Get to know yourself as a person, and just time block the times accordingly. Make sure that you also put time blocks in there for rest, for re-energizing. Maybe it's some lunchtime. Maybe it's reading. Just make sure that you use that to your own advantage. The second one is going to be the Eisenhower Matrix. Make sure that when it comes to that, first and foremost, before you use that strategy, you go ahead and read each block or read each square and identify what tasks belong in those color codes. It's going to make everything easier. It's going to make a lot of sense. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of work at the beginning to discern which activities is what, but it'll be well worth it at the end. Now, when you get all that down, the last one is just going to be prioritization of things that cannot change every single week. And then you just add everything else on top of that, right? Make sure that you know and have come up with a solid weekly plan, right, of things and meetings that cannot be pushed. Maybe it's certain commitments to your agents or clients that you meet with every single week. And you make sure that that never leaves your calendar. It does not get canceled. It does not get rescheduled. These are commitments. You stay true to your word. And then obviously add whatever you don't want to forget or you need to do that specific week. I do not like to lose my mind over seeing a bunch of things on my calendar. I want to make sure that I'm free. I feel like I have, control over my business and it looks organized, right? I know exactly what I need to do when I need to do it in the most important parts. So again, guys, if you are an agent who feels super frustrated, you don't know, what routine works for you. Obviously, that's a whole separate conversation. Figure out your routine and use whichever strategy from the ones we talked about today in this video to organize everything, put together in your calendar, make it a thing to wake up every single morning, look at your calendar, figure out what needs to get done at that specific hour, and stay true to it. We're human beings. You're going to mess up, so don't think that everything needs to happen to the exact minute, to the exact second. It's going to take some time, obviously, especially if you're going from maybe a 9 to 5 or you've never been an entrepreneur before. It's going to be something that you're going to have to get used to. But, just like everything else, it takes 30 days to create a habit. Make this a habit and it'll pay off.